All right, everyone. So we're going to get started. Once again, I told you I have Pear Deck up over here. We're going to try to do this virtually. We'll do Pear Deck, and maybe in the future we can do things like quizzes and Kahoot and such. But this is the code. I also gave you a link in the chat room if you just joined. But the code will stay in the corner. Let me know if you can't see the code. You can type in the chat room. All right. So this is our presentation for week 12. We are still going to be learning about resumes and cover letters, but I just want to go over some things. So just daily routines for this weird time that we are in where we have remote learning going on. They want you to make sure you sign the Schoology each day and check in at each of your classes. I put up a quick little Google form that I want you to check in at least 3 times a week. You just write your first and last name. That's it. Just lets me know that you're present. This is the way we're doing attendance since we are not able to be in school. Make sure you go to Google Classroom regularly, check your stream, and you can check your grades under Classroom/View Your Work. I'm going to be trying to grade much faster now since we're only having sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so that'll help me out a lot. But if you have questions about your grades, you can write me in Schoology or email me, or you can write in the comments too in Google Classroom. And just make sure you're checking for your videos and folders and presentations and assignments in Google Classroom. All right, next. So I just want to do a quick stress check. How is everybody feeling? It's crazy times. I just want to make sure everyone's doing well. Nice. Okay, I'm just gonna show some responses. Will it show up? Nice. So it looks like we have a range of ways that we are feeling. For those that are really stressed out right now, I just hope that you just give yourself some grace and some time. I know switching to online school can be really hard, but let your teachers know if you're struggling because it is a really hard time for everyone. I would say I'm somewhere around a 4-ish. Now that they've given us a real schedule, it's not as stressful, but I do have a lot of work to do. So I hover between 4 and 5 right now. But if you're really stressed out, make sure you either talk to someone, but also give yourself some grace. These are some crazy times. Oh, okay. Next one. So even though we know that we're stressed, I always want us to try to acknowledge the issues, but try to focus on something that is bright in your life right now. So let's not always focus on the things that are hard, but what are we thankful for? So what's something bright in your life right now? And you can write in. Okay, I'm just going to show screens. If you're still writing, you have some time. Let's see. Oh, let me share it this way. So let's see what we say is bright in our lives right now. Someone says White Castle burgers in their fridge. Look at you. I'm so glad that you are eating so healthy. They got to spend more time with their nephew that is 6. That's so sweet. Someone's Animal Crossing. What do they even mean? Someone's thankful that they get to be at home with their family and not be sick, but still be able to receive education. That is so true. It is amazing. I am very grateful for that as well. Something's bright in their life right now is everyone in their family is healthy. Yes. Zoom is great. No school, even though it's kind of school aligned, but I guess, yeah, staying home. Someone woke up to see another day. So true. Something bright in my life is that during these hard times, I've been experiencing new things, such as creating a yoga morning routine and also learning how to bake. That is awesome. I love that people are picking up new hobbies. They have a lot of free yoga apps if you want to know about them, like write me because I learned about them from Mr. McHugh. Marilyn, if you got kicked out, see if you can sign back into Peer Deck. I don't know what happened. The sun, when I finally get to go outside, yes, the sun will be bright. Um, at least they're not finding us as much as they are in certain places. My friend who lives in Maryland said they get fined like $5,000 if they're outside for reasons that they shouldn't be. Some things that their best friend is bright in their life. The code is, hold on, I'm type this in for her. HDF, no, HDJ. Okay. Oh, someone's using their planner and it's keeping them organized. I love that. Parents are very supportive in times like these. They are and will always be what is bright in my life. Oh, so sweet. You should like take a screenshot and show your parents. I think they would really appreciate that. All right. Well, I'm glad that we all recognize that there are still some bright things in our life right now, even though it's a little crazy. Okay, so let's look at our agenda today. So, what we're learning today, so we're going to be learning about the goals and components of a successful resume and cover letter, and learn strategies to maximize the effectiveness of a resume and cover letter. We're going to look at some real examples of resumes and cover letters to determine how effective they are. And then eventually we'll be creating our own resume and cover letter that will meet that criteria for success. So we're going to learn this by reviewing aspects of great resumes and cover letters in Pear Deck, and then watch videos about how to craft a great resume and cover letter. And then you're going to show you learned it by analyzing your resume and providing descriptive and informative feedback. Some of you have already started that assignment. And so great job for those who started. And if you haven't, I'll be showing that in a bit. All right, and then we're going to watch a video on how to write a resume and respond to questions on Edpuzzle. So you have an Edpuzzle assignment. I'll show these again at the end. So here is my first opening question about resumes and cover letters. So if you want a job, how do you convince the person that you are the right person for that job? What would you want to do to prepare for a conversation with that person? And what would you tell the employer to convince them you are the person they should hire? You don't have to answer all three questions. You can choose one to answer. And I'll give you guys about a minute. You should see the timer. Really, Daisy? That's your answer? Oh, you're gonna have to work on that. Okay, about 20 seconds left. Okay, so as time is winding down, here are the answers that I received. I will unlock it, but I'm going to start reading the answers. So someone said highlight your skills, rehearse and prepare for possible questions, and think up good and clear responses. You may not be the person, but if you demonstrate that you want to work, it'll be good. Um, so someone thinks like you have to lie, but maybe it says stretch the truth and show proof. But I think like even though I think the definition of lying may be a bit different. I don't know what you're looking for, but I think if you know that you have the potential, I think you can push for that. Highlight your skills, prepare well for the interview. That's so true. Prepare beforehand, be upfront. Talk about your skills and activities that make you stand out. Talk about internships and past experiences, what makes you qualified. So, yes, all of those things are true, and all of those things are things that you actually put into resumes and cover letters. Awesome. This is great, guys. Okay, let's go to the next part. So, here's the purpose of a resume. So, your resume is kind of like a billboard about you. It's meant to catch an employer's attention. It's meant to describe your value and let them know how to contact you. That's the purpose of your resume. And so think about the fact that it's meant to catch an employer's attention, but you wanted to catch their attention in a good way. You don't want to detract from who you are, but you want to make sure that it highlights who you are. That's the purpose. So I'll put on, oh, I don't even know if the video will work well. I don't know if the sound will come out well. So what I'll do is I'll post this up later so that you can watch the video. But your resume, so it's a vital part of every job application. And so it's the first thing the employer looks at. So in most cases, you will be applying for something online. And so they don't know anything about you besides this paper. But I'm going to skip this question, the common goals that a resume and a billboard share, because of the fact that the video may not sound sound good in Zoom. But I'll put this in student paste, and you'll be able to answer after. Okay. So there's an assignment in Google Classroom under week 12. Right here, it should be up now. It should say Ed Puzzle Resume Writing 101. So it's a quick video. It's less than 5 minutes. And it really talks about the main things that you need to know when writing a resume. And there's some questions that you answer for a grade in Ed Puzzle. So then let's look at cover letters. So your cover letter should describe why you want to work for an organization and what value you bring to them. So now your resume is all about you, and it's a billboard about you and what makes you great. And then your cover letter is saying why you want to work for that organization. So this is where you're kind of buttering up wherever you're applying for. You want to read about that organization, know their history, know their values, and talk about how your values will match their values and what you could add to their organization to help them meet their mission and vision. So your cover letter is basically really describing why you and that company should be together. And then there's a quick video I put in here as well for how to write a cover letter, and it has 5 tips. So your cover letter goes hand in hand with your resume when applying for a job. And so this video will also be helpful. And like I said, I'll be putting this presentation in Google Classroom. I'll put it under week 12, or I keep it in week 12 instead of resources. And you'll be able to watch the video there as well. So just remember that every resume and cover letter should be tailored to the specific job and organization that you want or that you're applying for. So what you'll do is, like, when you work with me, we're going to design like a base resume for you. But then when you're applying for different employers and you'll have a base resume and base cover letter. But when you're applying for different employers, you might tweak it just a bit so that it fits that employer. So for example, when I was a scientist, my resume and CV looked completely different when I was applying for jobs than when I applied for teaching jobs. And so you will always make sure you understand what you're applying for and what you need in your resume. So when they ask for work experience, I see a question. What do we write if you don't have any experience? So the thing is, you guys may not have any paid work experience, but you all have worked in different ways. And so I think you would pull from different things that you have done, even if it's volunteer work, and you can put that in there, even if you don't have work experience. Good question. And we'll look at some example resumes too. So that's the assignment that I just actually mentioned. So if you click here, this is actually a link. So you should be able to click this on your screen. But it's the assignment to analyze a resume and cover letter. This one was found in week 11. I gave it last week. But what I want you to do is, I've given you a resume and a cover letter that you are to analyze. And these represent high school resumes and cover letters. And so when you open the assignment, it looks like this. Like I showed you, the assignments also in Google Classroom. Let me scroll down. So some people have already answered. Looks like resume 4 is like pretty popular. Got a lot of people answering, but you should see your name and you should see the resume that I assigned to you. And then you will also see the cover letter that I assigned to you. And if you look up above the resume and the cover letter, there is a checklist of all the things that you should be looking for. And so I'll go over just a little bit. Since I'm down here, look at the cover letter. So your cover letter should not be more than a page long. If it's more than a page long, somebody is just going to zone out. The same way you guys see a whole bunch of words on a paper and you're like, oh, this is too much. That's what people look and think like when they see a cover letter that is too long. Other things that you may not have thought of, like print your cover letter on high quality paper. So don't just use like random paper. If you can find some nice paper like at Staples and you just treat that as like only your resume and cover letter paper, it looks good. It shows that you are you find that this is important. But if it's digital, you don't worry about paper. You don't have to worry about. Not as thick as cardstock. You want something in between cardstock and regular paper. I'll have to find, like if you actually search up like resume or cover letter paper, they'll have some that pop up. So don't use like cute fonts. Don't use anything swirly like Times New Roman, Arial, Verdana, Calibri. These are the type of fonts that you want to use. And you need to use business language. No shorthand, no texting language, none of that. Other things I want you to think about, some of the things I think you know. And if you see things that you have a question about, you can type it in. Babysitting. Someone asked about babysitting. Yes, you can use babysitting as job experience. And if you use babysitting as job experience, you should have as a reference the person that you babysitted for or babysat for. Second paragraph, like they said, look up a description of the job and really talk about why you fit that job description. And on Thursday, we'll be looking at a job description so that we can go through that together. And then for your resume, they have similar information about font and such. And you can actually see formats in the example resumes that I've given you. Relevant courses. So only use courses that are relevant to the job you are applying for. And if they've given you skills that help you with that job. And references, like they said, you don't have to write their names, but you can put available upon requests for references. Okay, but you don't put them on your resume. They'll go on a separate page if you do want to list references. If you see anything else on here, let me know. You can ask me some questions in the chat. Okay, so this is the last, second to last slide. So what are your assignments? Your assignments are just to, number one, if you haven't done so, analyze the resume and cover letter in that shared Google Doc that we just looked at. And then number two, complete the Ed Puzzle resume video and quiz. So you should see that in Google Classroom, like I said, in week 12. Those are the assignments for today. And then we'll come back together on Thursday at the same time. But I have this this Pear Deck slide open where you can write any other questions that you didn't get a chance to ask. You can also write it in the Zoom chat, wherever you would like. You can write it in the Zoom chat or you can write it in Pear Deck. Yes, I will put this presentation in Google Classroom so that you guys can view those videos. I forgot that the videos wouldn't work well in Zoom, but I wanted them there because they're really great ones that they can be helpful. So I'll add that when we get off our meeting. Good question. I actually can. look for it. Let me see. I can add it while I'm waiting for people. Um, so this it's not a spreadsheet, it's a document that says analyze a resume. And I'll show you where that is right now in Google Classroom as soon as I fix this. So I am going to add, okay, I think it's this one. All right, and this is gonna be added under week 12 and you guys should see it. So that's the presentation that I just went through. All right, and then if you don't see, oh, I added it to the wrong class, y'all. Look at me, I'm a mess. Oh, I know what I can do. So if you didn't see the assignment where you can talk about the resumes, that is right here in week 12 or week 11, I believe. That's this assignment right here. Analyze a high school resume and cover letter. I saw someone that had a question about that. And then let me just say reuse post because I posted it in the wrong spot. I have so many posts. There we go. And now you should see it where it belongs. Week 12 post. Now you should see it. Um, so the due dates should be right here in Google Classroom. So because I gave the Analyze a Resume and Cover Letter last week, that one's due tomorrow. This one, your Ed Puzzle, is due Friday. And this assignment is not visible yet. That's not due until at the end of spring break. Let me see, any other questions? So question, are there things we shouldn't put that may affect our chances of being selected, race, religion, and such? Usually you don't put religion or race and things on resumes. Usually it's just about your skills and things like that you have. But you usually don't put like very personal information on a resume. Good question.